Hello, this is Older and Bolder with Larley. Yes, we're getting older, but we want to get the most out of life as we age. I want to talk today to those individuals that are in the pre-retirement category. And what is pre-retirement? That could be that you're either 5 to maybe 10 years out before you retire at the age of 65. You may retire earlier. But I want to address 2 financial instruments that can help you while you're employed to save for your retirement. Let's take a look. The topic shared today on 401K and 403B retirement plans is for information only and should not be considered financial advice or financial education. I'm going to talk about 401K and 403B. I think more than ever in the time that we're in, we really need to make preparations for retirement, financial preparations. There's other preparations that we need to do in terms of where we might want to live, what we want to do in terms of family situation, do we want to downsize? But today I just want to share on the 2 type of retirement accounts that could be offered by your employer, and that's a 401K and 403B. I'm just sharing my experience. This is not to be taken as what you should do. It's more for informational purposes. I'm not a financial advisor, but I just want to share the advantage of these particular retirement accounts. 401K and 403B, they're offered by employers, not all employers.
Attention, some states are mandating retirement plans.
Check with your state controller's office on new updates.
The difference between them, 401K is offered by a for-profit organization, for-profit business. 403B is typically offered by a non-profit organization, such as could be a church, could be a school. But that's the difference. It's who is offering these retirement plans. With both particular accounts, the money is invested. And it's important that you keep that in mind because you want to have it invested for the long haul. Anytime you begin to save in either of these plans, it is a good time. Even if you feel like you've been working for an organization and you didn't investigate if they offer these retirement accounts, it's important that anytime you jump in is a good time. I want you to keep in mind that there are penalties associated with withdrawing the funds before the age of 59 and a half. It's important to consult a tax strategist or a tax accountant if you run into a hardship or you run into some type of, let's say your housing is compromised, perhaps you're going to be evicted. There are circumstances where you can withdraw the money sooner than that age of 59 and a half without penalty. But again, you want to make sure you refer to an expert before you make any moves in terms of withdrawing the money. The reason I believe these accounts are important, a lot of the employers now are not offering pensions. There was a time when you would work for a company and over time you're working and you're still putting into a 401k or a 403B, but at the end of your work life, when you're ready to retire, that company would offer you a pension, and it would be a certain amount that would be given to you each month. For instance, I have a pension that I will get for the rest of my life, and if I die before my husband, he'll get part of that pension, and vice versa. He also has a company-sponsored pension that he's getting on a monthly basis. But I emphasize to you, there are companies that are not offering pensions. However, that is why they are encouraging that employees participate in the 2 retirement accounts that I'm speaking on today. When you're using these retirement accounts, I want you to keep in mind, not only are there penalties for early withdrawal of the funds depending on the circumstance, there's also a very important term, and it's called vested. Vested has to do with the ownership of the employer contributions. An employer may require you to work for 5 years before you can own the funds that they have contributed. What that means is if you were to leave the company before that 5-year mark, you would be able able to own, of course, the amount that you have put in 100%, but the contribution the employer has put in would not go with you. It is important to check with human resources on that particular company's vesting schedule. I want to talk about the when. When should you put into these two retirement accounts? As soon as you can. And there are what they call contribution limits, but I would say to you, what is important is just look at what you make in terms of a salary and try to put in the amount that your employer will match. You can even do it on a graduated scale. You don't have to jump in and put half of your salary in, but it's good to begin to put that money in and take advantage of the tax benefits. How will you invest into these two retirement accounts? Contact your human resources department. Get the paperwork. And again, I want you to be cautious on what you put in. Do not put in a large amount that is not going to work with your lifestyle or your budget. If you can put in 3% of your salary, 2%, if you're working for an employer and they do not offer any type of retirement plan, you can also search out one of the investment firms and see what they have in terms of contributing so that you will have some type of money when you get to that retirement age. I want to say thank you for listening and watching this video. I wanted to just share part of my journey. And the reason I want to share is because someone shared with me about investing in a 401k. And I did it in my early 30s, and it was very beneficial to get me to the point where I am today. If you're thinking of perhaps getting a part-time job, take a look and see if they offer benefits such as a retirement or a pension plan. Some of these companies do, even on a part-time basis. Time comes, time moves. And even if we're not ready, time is still going to come. So I just wanted to share. Again, thank you for listening. This is Older and Bolder with Larly. Yes, we're getting older, but we want to get the most out of life as we age.